The body remembers what the mind chooses to forget. As the years accumulate, we believe the body must weaken, that vitality must fade. This is a story we tell ourselves, a cage we build with our own thoughts. But what if the key to unlocking 30 more years of life, of true, vibrant life, was not in adding more, but in starting with less? Most people ignore the profound power of the first conscious moments. 99% will miss how to structure their morning for deep vitality because they are too busy rushing towards the day. To skip the final part of this discussion is to receive a map, but never learn how to read it. Gentle awakening. When we speak of longevity, of adding years to a life, the conversation often turns to grand gestures, to diets of extreme restriction, to physical regimens that punish the body, to a constant search for an external secret. But the foundation of a long and, more importantly, a well-lived life is not built upon grand occasional efforts. It is built upon the small, consistent, and intentional actions that we repeat every single day. The most crucial of these actions is the very first one, the manner in which we choose to awaken. For many people, especially as they move past the age of 60 or 65, the morning is a source of anxiety. It begins with the jarring sound of an alarm, a sudden expulsion from the quiet world of sleep into the demanding reality of the day. This transition is violent. It is a shock to the system, a declaration of war on tranquility before consciousness has even fully arrived. The body, which may already be experiencing the stiffness or aches that can accompany age, is immediately put into a state of stress. The mind is instantly flooded with the day's obligations, the worries, the lists of tasks to be completed. This is not an awakening, it is an ambush. The practice that can redefine our relationship with aging begins here, in this sacred interval between slumber and full awareness. The invitation is to reclaim this moment. Instead of allowing an external sound to dictate your entry into the day, can you learn to awaken with the body's own rhythm? Perhaps this means allowing natural light to be your guide, but more deeply, it is about what you do in the first few seconds and minutes after your eyes open. The discipline is to simply remain still, to lie there in the quiet and resist the immediate urge to move, to think, to plan. This stillness is not empty, it is profoundly active. It is in these moments that you can conduct the first and most important dialogue of your day. It is a conversation with your own physical form. You can begin by simply noticing. Notice the feeling of the sheets against your skin. Notice the weight of your body on the mattress. Notice the air as it enters your nostrils, cool and life-giving, and as it leaves, warm and releasing. This is not meditation in a formal sense. It is a simple, grounded act of arrival. It is you re-inhabiting your own body after the journey of sleep. From this place of simple noticing, you can extend your awareness, mentally scan your body, not with judgment, but with gentle curiosity. Where do you feel tension? Where is there ease? Is there a stiffness in your back, a warmth in your hands? You are not trying to fix anything in this moment. You are simply taking inventory. You are greeting yourself. This act of gentle, non-judgmental observation is an act of profound kindness. For a body that has served you for over 6 decades, this kindness is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It changes the fundamental relationship from one of a master demanding service from a servant to one of a partnership built on respect and listening. The body has its own wisdom, its own language. The aches and stiffness are not failures, they are communications. By starting the day in quiet dialogue, you learn to understand this language. You learn to respond with wisdom rather than react with frustration. This simple practice of remaining still, of breathing, of listening, sets the entire trajectory for the day that follows. A day begun in chaos will tend towards chaos. A day begun in centered peace has a foundation upon which to build a structure of calm, focus, and resilience, regardless of the challenges it may present. This is the first pillar of sustainable vitality. Body gratitude. After the gentle awakening of the mind, the next step is to engage the body. but not in the way that modern culture often demands. The prevailing idea of morning exercise is one of intensity, of pushing limits, of no pain, no gain. This approach may have its place for a young athlete, but for someone cultivating longevity and sustainable well-being after 65, a different mindset is required. The goal is not to conquer the body, but to converse with it. The aim is not to exhaust its resources, but to awaken its energy pathways and express gratitude for its continued function. This is a shift from exercise as a duty to movement as a dialogue. It is a practice of what could be called body gratitude, where every motion is an expression of thanks for the simple miracle of mobility. The movements themselves are less important than the quality of attention you bring to them. They should be gentle, slow, and deliberate. Think of the way a great tree moves in a gentle breeze. It is flexible yet deeply rooted. This is the quality we seek to cultivate in our own physical form. The practice could begin even before you get out of bed. Simple, slow rotations of the ankles and wrists, gently flexing and pointing your feet. These small movements send a signal to the nervous system that it is time to awaken, but to do so without alarm. Once out of bed, the practice can continue. Find a small space, perhaps by a window, and stand with your feet planted firmly on the floor. Feel the connection to the ground beneath you. For so many years, this ground has supported you, and for this moment, you acknowledge that support. Then, begin a series of slow, deliberate stretches. Reach your arms towards the sky, not with the goal of reaching a certain height, but with the feeling of lengthening your spine, creating space between each vertebra. Imagine you are drawing energy up from the earth, through your legs, up your spine, and out through your fingertips. Then, as you slowly bring your arms down, imagine you are releasing any tension, any stale energy back into the earth to be recycled. The movements should follow your breath. Inhale as you expand and lengthen. Exhale as you release and contract. This synchronicity of breath and movement is critical. It unites the mind, which is focused on the breath, with the body, which is performing the motion. This union is the essence of mindfulness in action. It prevents the mind from wandering to its usual anxieties and instead anchors it firmly in the present moment experience of being alive in a physical form. The specific movements can be drawn from many ancient traditions, such as Qigong or Tai Chi, or they can be as simple as what feels good and necessary for your own body on that particular day. Perhaps a gentle twist of the torso to awaken the internal organs, or slow, soft circles of the hips and knees to lubricate the joints. The key is to move without force, without ambition. You are not trying to achieve a perfect posture or a deep stretch. You are exploring your body's current range of motion with kindness and acceptance. If you feel a point of stiffness, you do not force your way through it. You breathe into it. You approach it with softness, perhaps backing off slightly and then gently reapproaching. This teaches the body that movement is safe, that it is a source of pleasure and release, not a source of pain or strain. Over time, this consistent, gentle practice does more for flexibility and mobility than occasional, intense workouts ever could. It rehydrates the fascia, improves circulation, and calms the nervous system. It is a profound investment in your physical autonomy for the decades to come. It is an act of saying to your body every single morning, "Thank you, I am listening. Let us move through this day together." This gratitude is a powerful form of medicine. Silent nourishment. Following the awakening of the mind and the gentle movement of the body, the next stage of this morning ritual addresses the internal environment. This is the practice of silent nourishment. In our modern world, the first act of consumption in the morning is often done mindlessly. We drink coffee while reading the news on a screen, our minds already agitated and distracted. We eat breakfast while planning the day, our palate barely registering the flavors, our digestive system already tensed by our mental state. We treat the act of nourishing ourselves as another task to be completed as quickly as possible. But the simple act of taking in the first liquid or food of the day is a profound opportunity to cultivate presence and to support the body's internal functions. To treat this moment with intention can have a significant impact on our energy, our digestion, and our overall sense of well-being, not just for the day, but for the years to come. The practice begins with the preparation of a simple drink. This does not need to be an exotic elixir. It can be a glass of warm water, perhaps with a slice of lemon, or a simple, calming herbal tea. The key is in the preparation itself. As you warm the water, be present with the process. Listen to the sound of the kettle. Watch the steam rise. When your drink is ready, do not consume it immediately. Find a quiet place to sit, the same place perhaps where you performed your gentle movements. Hold the cup in your hands. Feel its warmth. This simple sensory input is a powerful anchor to the present moment. It brings you out of the abstract world of thought and into the tangible reality of the now. Before you take the first sip, take a moment to look at the liquid. Observe its color, its clarity. Notice the steam rising from its surface. Bring the cup towards your face and inhale its aroma. By engaging your senses in this way, you are preparing your body to receive. You are signaling to your digestive system that nourishment is coming, allowing it to awaken gently and prepare itself for its work. This is a stark contrast to the shock of consuming something while in a state of mental rush and distraction. When you finally take the first sip, do so with your full attention. Let the liquid rest in your mouth for a moment. Notice its temperature, its texture, its taste. Follow the sensation of the liquid as it travels down your throat and into your stomach. Feel its warmth spreading through your core. You continue to drink in this manner, slowly, deliberately, with each sip being a moment of full awareness. This is not about drinking a certain amount or a specific substance. It is about transforming the act of drinking from a mindless habit into a mindful ritual. This practice has numerous physiological benefits. The warm liquid helps to gently awaken and cleanse the digestive tract. It hydrates the body's cells after a long night of rest and repair. But the psychological and spiritual benefits are just as profound. By starting your day with an act of such focused, quiet intention, you reinforce the pattern of presence that you began with your gentle awakening. You are training your mind to find richness and meaning in the simplest of activities. This skill is invaluable, especially as we age. It is the ability to derive joy not from constant external stimulation, but from the depth of our own inner experience. This practice of silent nourishment reminds us that we are not just machines that require fuel. We are living organisms that thrive on presence, on intention, and on kindness, both to ourselves and from ourselves. It is a way of honoring the intricate internal architecture that sustains our very life. Mindful stillness. Once the body has been gently awakened, moved with gratitude, and nourished with intention, the structure of the morning turns inward in a more focused way. This is the practice of mindful stillness. For many, the idea of sitting still, of doing nothing, is the most challenging part of this entire sequence. We are conditioned to believe that our value comes from our activity, from our productivity. To simply sit without a screen, without a book, without a task, can feel like a waste of time. It can bring up feelings of restlessness, boredom, or anxiety. Yet it is precisely in this stillness that we can cultivate the mental and emotional resilience necessary to navigate the complexities of life, particularly in our later years. This is not about emptying the mind, which is an impossible task. The mind is a thought generator. That is its nature. The practice is not to stop the thoughts, but to change our relationship to them. It is about learning to become the observer of the mind rather than being a prisoner of its constant activity. The practice is simple in its form. You sit. You can sit on a cushion on the floor, or you can sit upright in a chair with your feet flat on the ground. The posture should be one that is both relaxed and dignified. Your spine is straight, but not rigid. Your hands resting comfortably in your lap. You close your eyes, or you can soften your gaze towards a point on the floor in front of you. And then you simply notice your breath. You do not try to control it or change it. You just observe it. You feel the sensation of the air entering your body, and you feel the sensation of it leaving. This breath becomes your anchor. It is always with you, always in the present moment. When a thought arises, and it will, you do not judge it, you do not fight it, and you do not follow it down a long chain of association. You simply acknowledge its presence, as you might acknowledge a cloud passing in the sky. You notice it, and then you gently, kindly guide your attention back to the anchor of your breath. You will have to do this over and over again. The mind will wander 100 times, and 100 times you will gently guide it back. This is the practice. The work is in that gentle, repeated returning. Each time you guide your attention back to the breath, you are strengthening a mental muscle. It is the muscle of focus, of non-judgmental awareness, of inner stability. This practice of mindful stillness, even for just 5 or 10 minutes each morning, begins to change the very wiring of the brain. It calms the amygdala, the brain's fear center, which can be overactive in our high-stress world. It strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the seat of executive function, emotional regulation, and wise decision-making. Over time, you begin to notice a space growing between a stimulus and your reaction to it. An annoying driver, a critical comment, a piece of bad news. Instead of an immediate unconscious emotional reaction, a moment of awareness appears. In that space, you have a choice. You can choose to react with anger and frustration, or you can choose to respond with calm and clarity. This ability to choose your response is the foundation of true freedom and emotional maturity. For someone over 65, this is not a small thing. It is the difference between a life lived in a state of constant reactivity and agitation and a life lived with a core of unshakable peace, regardless of the external circumstances. It is a way of cultivating an inner sanctuary that you can return to at any moment, a quiet center in the midst of life's inevitable storms. This stillness is the source of our deepest strength. Outer connection. The morning ritual, with its focus on inner awareness, gentle movement, and mindful stillness, is not designed to be an escape from the world. It is not a retreat into a self-contained bubble. On the contrary, its ultimate purpose is to prepare us to engage with the world more fully, more effectively, and with a greater sense of connection and purpose. The final active stage of this practice, therefore, is to consciously bridge the inner world you have just cultivated with the outer world you are about to enter. This is the practice of outer connection. It is the moment where you take the centeredness, the calm, and the clarity you have generated and you consciously direct it outward. It is about setting an intention for the day, not as a list of tasks to be accomplished, but as a quality of being you wish to embody. After your period of mindful stillness, while you are still in that state of quiet presence, you can ask yourself a simple question. What quality do I wish to bring into my day today? Perhaps the answer is patience. Perhaps it is kindness. Perhaps it is focus or courage, or simply a sense of joyful curiosity. There is no right answer. The answer will arise from the wisdom of your own inner state, which you have just spent time listening to. Once you have identified this quality, hold it in your mind for a few moments. Feel what it would be like to move through your day embodying this quality. Imagine interacting with your family, your neighbors, or the person at the grocery store with this sense of patience or kindness. This is not about planning specific outcomes. It is about setting your internal compass. This intention acts as a guiding principle, a gentle reminder that you can return to throughout the day when you find yourself being pulled off center by stress or distraction. It becomes a theme for your day, transforming mundane activities into opportunities to practice your chosen quality. Washing the dishes becomes a practice of focus. Waiting in a line becomes a practice of patience. A difficult conversation becomes a practice of kindness. This changes your relationship with your entire day, from one of reacting to events to one of actively co-creating your experience of them. Another aspect of this outer connection is to consciously connect with the world beyond your walls. This can be as simple as stepping outside for a few moments, or even just looking out a window. Take a moment to truly see what is there. Notice the color of the sky. Watch the movement of the leaves on a tree. Listen to the sounds of the morning, whether it is the song of a bird or the distant hum of the city. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. This simple act of sensory engagement with the natural world or even the urban world is a powerful reminder that you are a part of something much larger than your own individual concerns. It helps to put your personal worries into perspective. It cultivates a sense of belonging and awe, which are powerful antidotes to the feelings of isolation and loneliness that can sometimes accompany aging. By consciously connecting your inner state to the outer world and setting an intention for your engagement with it, you complete the morning structure. You have built a foundation of inner stability, and now you have built a bridge to carry that stability out into your life. You are not just preparing to survive the day, you are preparing to live it fully and purposefully. Embracing discomfort. It is important to address a fundamental reality of undertaking any new practice, especially one that challenges our lifelong habits. The reality is that it will not always be easy. There will be mornings when you wake up and the last thing you want to do is to be still, to move gently, or to sit in silence. Your mind will provide 1,000 excellent reasons why you should skip it just this once. You are too tired, you are too busy, it is not working anyway. This internal resistance is not a sign of failure. It is a natural and predictable part of the process of change. The true practice, in many ways, is not in performing the ritual perfectly on the days you feel good, but in showing up for it on the days that you do not. This is where the Shaolin concept of eating bitterness finds its universal application. It does not mean seeking out suffering for its own sake. It means learning to face and even embrace the mild discomfort that is inherent in discipline. It is the discomfort of choosing the long-term benefit over the short-term impulse. When you feel that resistance, the invitation is not to fight it with brute force, but to meet it with the same gentle curiosity you bring to your physical body. Acknowledge the feeling. Ah, there is the feeling of resistance. There is the thought that I am too tired. You observe it without immediately believing it or acting on it. You can even treat it as an old friend who visits from time to time. You do not have to serve it tea, but you can acknowledge its presence without alarm. Then you make a small bargain with yourself. You say, I will just do 5 minutes, or even, I will just do the first part. I will just lie still and breathe for 1 minute. More often than not, once you begin, the resistance dissolves. The simple act of starting is enough to overcome the inertia. And on the days when it does not dissolve, on the days when every moment of the practice feels like a struggle, that is when the most profound work is being done. You are training your capacity to remain steadfast in the face of internal friction. You are proving to yourself that your actions are guided by your intention, not by your fleeting moods. This ability to work with discomfort is perhaps the single most important skill for navigating the later stages of life. Life will inevitably present us with challenges, physical, emotional, and practical. There will be discomfort, there will be difficulties. If our only strategy is to avoid discomfort at all costs, we become fragile. We become limited in our experiences and in our capacity for growth. But if we have practiced day after day in the small controlled environment of our morning ritual, how to sit with discomfort without being overthrown by it, we build a deep and abiding resilience. We learn that feelings are temporary, that thoughts are not facts, and that we have a core of stability within us that is stronger than any passing storm of emotion or resistance. This is how the morning practice becomes a training ground for life itself. It strengthens not just the muscles of the body, but the muscle of the will. It fortifies the spirit, and it ensures that as we age, we do so not with increasing fragility, but with deepening strength and unwavering resolve. This is the hidden gift within the struggle, sustaining vitality. The promise of living 30 more years is a powerful one, but it can be misleading if understood in purely quantitative terms. The true goal of this morning practice is not simply to add more calendar years to the end of a life. It is to infuse every year, every day, and every moment that we are given with a profound quality of vitality, presence, and meaning. The longevity that this practice cultivates is a longevity of spirit, of awareness, of the capacity to experience joy and peace, regardless of our chronological age. The structure we have discussed, the gentle awakening, the grateful movement, the silent nourishment, the mindful stillness, and the outer connection is not a collection of separate techniques. It is a single, integrated system. It is a form of inner architecture that, when built and maintained daily, supports the entire edifice of our being. It creates a positive feedback loop. When you awaken gently, you are more inclined to move with gratitude. When you move with gratitude, you are better prepared to receive nourishment mindfully. This mindful state makes stillness more accessible, and from that stillness, your connection to the world becomes more authentic and purposeful. Each part strengthens the others. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. A small, simple practice performed with intention every single day will, over months and years, create a fundamental shift in your baseline state of being. It is like water dripping on a stone. A single drop makes no visible impact, but over time, the constant, gentle pressure can reshape the hardest of surfaces. This daily ritual reshapes our ingrained patterns of stress, distraction, and reactivity. It carves new neural pathways in the brain for calm, focus, and compassion. It rewires the nervous system from a constant state of fight or flight to a baseline of rest and digest, which is the state in which the body's natural healing and regenerative processes function optimally. This is the physiological basis for a longer, healthier life. But the true vitality comes from the psychological and spiritual transformation. As we age, many people experience a shrinking of their world. Their physical abilities may lessen, their social circles may change. It is easy to fall into a state of looking backward, of living in memories of a more vibrant past. This morning practice is a powerful antidote to that contraction. It anchors you every single day in the vibrant reality of the present moment. It teaches you that this moment, right now, is where life is happening. It reveals the richness that is available in the simplest of experiences, the feeling of the breath, the warmth of a cup, the sight of the morning sky. This is a source of joy that does not diminish with age. In fact, it can deepen. By cultivating this inner richness, you become less dependent on external circumstances for your happiness. You carry your own wellspring of peace and contentment within you. This is the ultimate form of self-sufficiency. It is the foundation of aging with grace, with wisdom, and with a quiet, unshakable strength. This is what it means to truly live for all of your years, not just to accumulate them.